Hi, I'm Chris the Contemplative, and this is a trailer for a stream we'll be doing 2 p.m. Eastern this Saturday, and it will be called The Death of Eros. And seeing as how it's Valentine's Day coming up, I've just been wondering about the particular historical figure of Valentine, Saint Valentine, and what he stood for and what he would think about this day. This day that's coming up seems to be like the only bastion left of this idea of romantic love. So I'm not knocking it at all, but you can already see cracks in the wall. And within our culture, despite the fact that there's a $1 billion industry of romance and erotica and whatever else, it just seems like the reality is relationships are falling apart. No one really has a clue, and romance is pretty much dying. What is going on here? We have some kind of disconnect where we're high up in the sky, which is very possible with our biological drives to ignore reality and not looking at the picture that's unfolding before us during these times, which is, let's see, we got 50% divorce rate, we've got a huge mega billion abortion industry. You have parents not spending much time at all with their children. You have just at least a supermajority of people which who have a litany of failed relationships before they eventually find the right ones to bring all that baggage into it. And in terms of the music industry, which is very much responsible for the formation of people in the past few generations, what the heck is going on? You got this Disney fairy princess thing on one end, where everyone's like, "Oh, I just wish the man of my dreams," and it just would be wonderful. And then at the same time, and this is to the ladies here, you'll turn on rap music, which calls women hoes and other words, which I won't repeat due to YouTube's unfair monetization standards these days. It's like schizophrenic. And so these people that want one thing really end up doing the other, and then they kind of want to bounce back. And we have this constant zoo of nonsense going on in people's lives. So when you really think about the romance material, the last time I saw when I was a kid a romance movie was with Julia Roberts, and I think during her time and her heyday, there was an understanding that romantic movies were for both genders. Both men and women could enjoy them, and of course, still mostly women would be interested in it. But if you actually look at some of her best movies, it's objectively good writing, it's objectively good acting, and it's very inspiring and touching. Romance or any other good work of art or literature should transcend the genders. But now it's for girls, right? It's totally for girls. The men avoid it like uh, they avoid it like a napalm fire, and the women seem to flock to it. And I think the reason for that is because the quality has dropped. Whenever you see only a particular niche crowd getting it, and there's really no objective reason for it being good other than that niche emotional drive to see those kinds of things, then there's a problem. I think currently the current heartthrob is Ed Sheeran, is one of those like mainstream ones. But I listen to his tune. It's not bad, but it's just the typical mealy mouth, not much substance, emotional stuff. And from what I can see, at least. But I think the overall point is much of this romance is what social scientists now call hypergamy, where it's actually a higher form of lust, where the woman objectifies the man for his social status, his monetary status, his looks. It's an idealism. It's not really realistic. So it just really ups the selfism. It ups the me attitude, and then you add in the pornographic stuff, which is in the music industry and the pornography and the culture, which apparently women are into it just as much as men now. We have some messed up psyches going into dating and marriage. And so you have the people that are just complete hedonists, right? Who are just completely all in, and they come crawling out of their hangover to try to get it together in their late 20s and 30s and settle down. Then you have people that aren't completely in there, but they are twisted in this hypergamous way of thinking. There's also a male version of that. There's some kind of narcissistic complex going on within the dating sphere. You just run into narcissist after narcissist, people with these highfalutin standards, or you run into scams and bots, which is another big problem. The fact that we have to go on the internet to date already shows us where we're at in society instead of the local area finding people. At least where I live, geographically speaking, in the more liberal middle to upper class areas, people are just so into themselves. There's not much community going on. And then lastly, you have what I call deadbeat marriages, or I didn't know this, but Our Lady of Fatima, which is an approved apparition in, excuse me, Our Lady of Good Success as well, warned us about bad marriages, deadbeat marriages. There really just isn't much love going on there. And we have this divorce rate, and I think we're all just kidding ourselves here that marriage is this invincible thing. So, Uh, what went wrong that led to all this? Well, I think something very simple went wrong. I think there's a big disconnect that happened when we made love or romantic love just an emotion. We objectified romantic love. Whereas before in our Christian society, we considered it a part of God. And it's always been considered that, especially in the Catholic Church. There's a famous passage, God is love. And when we lose sense of that, we automatically become very lonely and desperate to just do whatever to get that fleeting sense of that thrill. It becomes even a codependency, kind of like a drug. You see that in a lot of people. So we're going to be talking about this in the upcoming stream, and I hope to see you all there and to bring your own thoughts. I wish you all a blessed St. Valentine's Day, and I hope to bring hope to this major disconnect that there is another option of healing and fulfillment found in God, even in these areas. Take care and God bless.